Nonetheless, there is a national championship at stake here without Mary Slaney and some outstanding competitors ready to go in the women's 1,500 meters. The record held, the American mark, by Mary Slaney, set back in 1983. And a look at the field with certainly among the favorites, Amy Wickus from that lineup, Sarah Thorsett, Julie Henner, and down in the middle of this listing here, Regina Jacobs, perhaps the top favorite in the race today at 1,500 meters.
Jacobs saying that she qualified with ease. As we take a look at her in the middle of the screen there in the semifinals, felt better than ever, felt stronger than ever. She's had so much success on this track, Dwight Stones.
Absolutely great track for her, great conditions for her. 3 times consecutively she has been the national champion, the 3-time defending champion. I see nothing from the semifinals that would indicate to me that she isn't prepared to pick up number 4.
And keep an eye also on number 1121, Suzy Hamilton, the 28-year-old from Madison, Wisconsin. Could be in the thick of it here. 12 runners going for the national championship.
All the way on the outside of your screen on the left, that's 40-year-old Ruth Wysocki, who made the Olympic team in 1984 in both this event as well as the 800 meters. She also managed to make the World Championship team 2 years ago and made the final in Sweden, so do not count her out.
And into the lead at age 40 goes Ruth Wysocki, as she chose to do during her heat as well, and made it into the final here with that strategy. Now getting someone to run with her this time, and that is Suzy Hamilton on the inside, number 1121.
Wysocki, what an exciting story it is that she's yet again having a good season at age 40, setting all sorts of national records as a Masters competitor, age 40 and over, and just plain enjoying herself. That's what she told us when she came back to world-class form a couple of years ago. It was for the fun of it, and she's enjoying herself out there.
Jacobs and Hamilton running behind Wysocki on the lead. Group still pretty much together here as they've completed 1 lap into lap 2 of 4.
And just under 65 seconds, so Wysocki has towed them to a good first lap pace, would translate to something around 4:04 for the 1,500 meters, which would be good running under these conditions.
Sarah Thorsett now in 4th place, Amy Wickus in 5th, and they're starting to separate a bit from the back of the pack. The top 5, Wysocki still in front.
Been watching Ruth run for a lot of years. I would be surprised if she were to stay up in the lead. That's not where she likes to run from, and there's certainly plenty of people behind her who would be only too happy to push the pace. Ruth still with that great 800-meter speed. She used to be a quarter miler way back in the early 80s. She can still kick with the best of them if the pace slows down.
Jacobs, Hamilton, Thorsett, and Wickus behind Wysocki. Fran Bensel has moved up into 6th place.
Interesting that behind Wickus and Regina Jacobs come 3 training partners and former teammates at Wisconsin, Amy Wickus, Sarah Thorsett, and Suzy Hamilton. All training under Coach Peter Tagan back in Madison, Wisconsin, as the pace has slowed just a little bit. But Dwight, I think that Ruth Wysocki doesn't believe that she can kick with the 4 women behind her, and she feels she has to keep the pace moving. All 3 Wisconsin-trained athletes with excellent kicks. Regina Jacobs, we've seen kick with many of the best women in the world.
Jacobs, age 33, out of Stanford in 1982, 3-time U.S. champion, right on the shoulder of Wysocki as they come down the stretch here on lap 3.
And I have such memories of Jacobs back in 1988 qualifying for the Olympic team on this track, really in majestic form. And when she's confident in her finishing speed, her finishing kick, she's hard to beat by anyone in the world, and she seems confident here.
Hamilton, Thorsett, and Wickus, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Pardon me, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
You know, Ruth Wysocki has not pushed the 3rd lap hard enough to take the sting out of any of these younger athletes. Regina Jacobs at 33, normally you would consider to be quite old for the event, but with Wysocki at 40, now the real running is going to begin with 300 meters left to go.
And Jacobs now moves ahead of Wysocki. Hamilton is going with her. Jacobs and Hamilton. There comes Thorsett into 3rd. Wysocki fading.
Well, the 3 team qualifiers look clear with Jacobs, Hamilton, and Thorsett breaking away. The question is, who's going to win the race now between Hamilton and Jacobs?
And they have separated from Thorsett. It's Jacobs and Hamilton around the final turn.
And Suzy Hamilton really is in a good position to strike if she's got the kind of finishing speed to take over Regina Jacobs.
Jacobs now widens her lead. It's going to be Regina Jacobs, the 33-year-old. Thorsett and Wickus battling for the final spot. Hamilton is second. It's going to be Thorsett getting up for third. Amy Wickus is fourth.
Excellent running. Right around the fastest time in the world, 200ths off the fastest time in the world for Regina Jacobs, and she did it in a very patient way. Didn't make the pace, didn't push the pace. Ran with all of her great experience to take the lead and get out of trouble at just the right moment, and clearly had something left, Whitestones, when they came off of the last turn into the straightaway. As you said, Suzy Hamilton in just the right position to strike, but she just didn't have the same turnover that Regina Jacobs had in the home stretch.
All three of these athletes, veterans of Olympic Games, World Championships, or Pan American Games, so we're sending a very, very well-experienced team. Regina Jacobs just missing the best time in the world this year. She looked very, very good here, but still another 6 weeks, and she should get more race fit and be really ready to contend in Athens.
So Regina Jacobs, the 33-year-old, is the national champion. We'll be back with the men's 1,500 meters live from Indianapolis in a moment. Back in Indianapolis, final results of that women's 1,500. Regina Jacobs just missing the meet record of Mary Slaney of 4:03.37. Her winning time 4:03.42. Suzy Hamilton and Sarah Thorsett will join her on the World Championship team at 1,500 meters.